second time Losang Samten is coming to our school to do a sand mandala, and he'll be here this week. So he has come to us by way of Philadelphia, by way of Nepal, and from his birth in Tibet. So a few things about Losang before I introduce him to you and you get to meet him and ask him questions. Middle school, for years, has had a long, deep, and somewhat strange and perhaps even mystical connection to the Tibetan people and to the Tibetan cause and to Tibetan culture. Losang was born in Tibet, in Western Tibet, I think somewhere in the mid-50s. And as a young child, imagine this, as a young child at the age of 5, that your country is occupied by another country and your culture is being threatened. Your teachings, your history, your family, your nation is being threatened by another country. And your family has to make the decision, do we stay here in Tibet and weather this storm and see what happens, and at the risk of losing our culture and our identity and maybe losing our lives? Or do we leave our home and travel to a strange place, into an unknown future? And for Losang, at age 5, his family made the very tough decision that we're going to leave Western Tibet. We're going to make our way, but there's no easy way out of Tibet. So as a 5-year-old, Losang came over the Himalayas by foot, without Patagonia, without gloves, without fancy shoes, 2 months walking on snow and ice and through glaciers. And many of the people who made that trek and who have been making that trek, that escape into exile for nearly 60 years, didn't survive the trip. Many children, many family members. He got out of Tibet through a famous pass near Mount Everest, and spent years making his way not only just to get out of Tibet, but to a place called Dharamsala in northern India, which is the Tibetan home for the exiled government of Tibet, where the Dalai Lama and many of the Tibetans relocated to. And for the last 60 years, since the first occupation of China in 1950, and then with the exodus of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in 1959, who also had to sneak out of his own country that he was the ruler of, who left in 1959, most of the Tibetan government and the leadership, the teachers, the artists, the people who really hold the cultural story and traditions of Tibet have lived outside of their country, have not been able to be residents of their own home for 60 years. 60 years in exile, wondering when do we get to go home and what will happen. So over this next week, as you get to know Losang, I hope even more you get to understand the plight of a people and the beauty of a culture which is threatened. Their survival has been threatened, and they've responded in such a beautiful and incredible way to preserve their culture. Not many cultures without a homeland survive, period. And so I think the biggest question of the week, and it could be about Tibet, could be about Judaism, it could be about cultures in Borneo or Mayan cultures deep inside Guatemala, or Amazonian cultures, or just cultures all the way around the world. And so the question I'm going to be asking all week, and I hope you ask yourself, is why does Tibet matter? Why does Tibet matter? Most countries in the world don't even recognize Tibet as a country. It's a province of China. Why does the Navajo Nation matter? Why do cultures around the world matter? What do they offer us? And I think you can answer that question maybe at the end of this week better than you can today. It could be about politics. It could be about culture. It could be about spirituality. It could be about just other ways and other perspectives of living your life. After joining an orphanage school in Dharamsala, and studying to become a monk, he basically has what we would think of as a PhD in divinity. Not only does he have one from his Tibetan school and the monastery where His Holiness the Dalai Lama lives, but he's also has a PhD in divinity from Trinity College, and has spent 20 years of his life studying Tibetan Buddhism. After which he also became the personal attendant, or the personal secretary to His Holiness the Dalai Lama for 17 years. The Dalai Lama decided and realized what great talents and skills and gifts that Losang had. He said, what I want you to do now, Losang, is to go out and share this creative vision, this art, this ability to do the sign mandala and take it out to the world, to spread Tibetan culture out to the world, much like a prayer flag is supposed to spread prayers out into the world. So Losang now has spent the last 20, 30 years traveling the world doing sand mandalas for all sorts of people in museums and for native nations, and someday I hope we're going to help him do more of these for Tibetan students throughout northern India and hopefully one day in Tibet. So with that, I'd like to ask Losang to come on up, and I have two things I'd like to present. This is a kata, and it's often given and presented to a guest or to a host in terms of just an offering of respect and gratitude. And this has been with middle school for a while, so I'd like to offer this.
Oh, thank you so much.
And then I have one other thing, it's right here. And this is called the dorje, and it comes from Tibet. I actually got this in Tibet, must have been 20 years ago. And how interesting for Santa Barbara Middle School that it's called the dorje. It's it's considered to be the thunderbolt of wisdom. As far as I know, you're going to have to correct me and explain this to me. And it also has to do with being a diamond. And as we talk about the diamond and the wheel in Santa Barbara Middle School, the diamond is to cut through ignorance and develop compassion and wisdom. And it's a meditative tool in Tibetan Buddhism that goes alongside with a bell to balance off kind of the sound of mindfulness, the bell, and the thunderbolt, or the diamond, to cut through ignorance and to reach enlightenment. So I'd like to also present this to Losang and welcome him back to our home, Santa Barbara.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Teacher Eric, and the faculties in the school. That's right, this is my second visit in your lovely, remarkable, well-known school. When I was coming here yesterday from Philadelphia, and some of the Philadelphians asked me, where are you going, Losang? Santa Barbara, where? Middle school. Oh, middle school. That's the best school. Truly, people said to me, I know it, I know. But they realize, they know, for even in Philadelphia, they know your school is a remarkable reputation for good schools. So you made that. Your faculty made that. And so I'm so delighted and so happy to be spend time for this week with you, and some of you have a chance to come by to the mandala, try a little bit putting sand. Some of you already did that this morning, but I'm here all week, and come by and start and ask any questions, and if you like to put the sand, please do so. So we're all creating together where we're creating this mandala called mandala of kindness. Mandala what?
Kindness.
Mandala of kindness. Mandala of kindness. Think about it. Kindness. Not only we, humanity, need the kind, but all living beings really need the kind. To be kind to each other, and then we'll be okay. So the kind. So that's what we're doing this week. And again, thank you so much to you, and thank you for the faculties and students and So that's my story about being here week. Any questions you might have, I'm here for you. And then Thursday and around 2 o'clock, that beautiful design we're going to create. And we're going to disperse ceremony, and then the Friday morning we'll go to the beach and give back to the earth. But thank you to the mother. So thank you. So if any of you have questions and want to do, I'm happy to. Yes, my friend.
So, do you travel around the whole world?
Well,
Or
that's right. Thank you for saying, Teacher Eric. Not entire world, but for example, 1960. Well, I was true. That's right. 1959, escaped from Tibet. My father was the mayor of the town, small town, not big town like Santa Barbara, but small town. So because of his political leader, so danger his life, danger his family, we escaped. So then grew up in India, went to school and monasteries and all those, and then he came to United States a few times before, but then since 1988. So 1965, and I become a citizen of the United States, and then very easy to travel places like Europe and any quite number of places, but not entire world or anything, but most of the United States and Europe, and I go up in Canada for the schools and the mandalas, things like that. Yeah, I've been doing this many years, since 1980. So that's why I got a nickname. Losang Samten is my name. Do you know my nickname? Mandala Man. That's my name. Yes. Oh, you know, I was one time, people say, oh, you need to set up the, what do you call it? Not the Facebook, something, they need a password, right? I said, how about a mandala man? I don't know who, they already took a mandala man. I cannot get the password mandala man. Oh, I thought that's my name, but someone else took it. But anyhow, well, thank you for asking. Yeah, one more question. Yes.
When did you create your first mandala?
Hmm?
When did you make your first mandala?
First mandala was I was a teenager. You know, my interest when I was in the monastery and my senior teachers, my teacher. Why I said like this, my teacher, the teachers are so important for us. Truly. So my teacher, I'm making a mandala there. Not mandala for like a just for the publicly like this, but a ceremonial mandala. So I was watching that. I thought, wow. So then I joined for the specific school for the mandala, and so the first mandala I made was, I believe I was age of 18 or 19. Not good as like these days. Now my mandala is a lot better. So thank you so much again. Yes.
Can you say something? Because we know art, but we don't totally understand what the mandala is really all about. Because it's more than just creating art for art's sake and creative sake, but it's trying to capture something. And so if you could just say a few words about the purpose of creating mandalas, instead, you know.
Right. Thank you. One of the things that mandalas, you will use all the mandalas. So the mandalas probably you notice, or you will see when you try the sand, some you already did that, but when you come try putting the sand, it helps you to come into your thoughts. I mean, if you do long enough, it's like a very meditative. It's a really a meditation. For example, to me, like this, though, I've been doing this 30 years. even like here, sometimes like little noisy. This is nothing noisy, but the big museums are sometimes so noisy. But when I'm putting the sand on the table, my monkey mind, completely stops. Very peaceful. So that really helped me. Mandala helped me so much, tame my mind. But then plus has a message there. For example, mandala, the color, there are many colors, but 5 major colors. The yellow, the earth, green, the water, green, the air, white water, red fire, blue sky. So it's message to we need to respect, we need to take care of the environment. And then the symbol have a compassion, the generosity, morality, patience, joyful effort, concentration, and wisdom. So each symbol has a message there. So when I drawing the design, I need to think about each one. And then overall is the disperse ceremony which we done before here too, but this Thursday is not only the everything is impermanent. One thing is that everything is changing. For example, when I came to this room today, I thought, oh, same room 3 years ago, but reality it changed. 3 years ago, the room I came here, we did a dismantle here. That room is no longer exists today, but the continuity is right here. So constantly changing. Well, we as an individual constantly changing. Mother Earth is constantly changing. Environments constantly changing. So another way to look at it is that dismantle is the message is everything's a change. Everything's a change, there's a hope. You know, change is not the bad thing. Change is the good thing. Everything that changes, we have a hope. Everything changes, we get everything. So numerous reasons. Dismantle is for that. And then plus, as I said earlier, create a mandala of compassion, send lots of prayers and good thoughts, and then return back to the earth.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we've got, I think what we're going to do is we're right in the middle of elective time, so I'm going to disperse this group to go to electives. You got 6th period to go to. It won't be long, about 20 minutes to get to your 6th period elective. Maybe just check in, maybe help out. We won't be able to do the full thing. And then we'll get back to 7th period elective in about 15, 20 minutes. Yes? Ooh, yeah. So the mandala, it's on a pretty stable table, but you can knock it, it can be altered, so we have to be careful with the mandala. It's going to take, many of these take even a week. You can see some of the ones behind us. And so we're going to build it out the best way we can over 5 days, every grain of sand, so we have to be careful. And you're all invited to put some on there too, and to work with Losang to be part of that. All right, well, welcome again. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And